with Stephon Adams, number 44. And we're set to go from San Diego. Low line drive kick. Picked up at the 8-yard line by Brown. Small seam up the middle, gets it back to the 30-yard line. Steve Beuerlein has won the Raiders quarterback job for the second time this season. He's ranked 4th in the conference in passing efficiency. There is amazing talent on offense. Last week, Marcus Allen became the first Raider to go over the 10,000-yard mark in his career. The line is the weakness on offense because of injury and inexperience. Bruce Wilkerson is the only lineman to start every game this year. Marcus Allen, the lone setback. 3 wide receivers. Jackson in motion. And he'll get the toss. Strung out beautifully. And Mike Charles, number 71, the nose man, helped chase it down with inside linebacker Gary Plummer. On that San Diego line, Lee Williams is the sack leader, a department he's led for the last 3 years. Because of injuries, Billy Ray Smith is the only starting linebacker left. He's been the Chargers' best defensive player for years. The secondary has some talent, especially Vincey Glenn. He is steadily improving in only his 3rd year. No gain on the last play, 2nd and 10. Beuerlein with a short roll out to Lofton. Complete, first down at the 40 and out of bounds. Gil Byrd was over there with him. And that's what Beuerlein does best, Joe.
Well, not only what Beuerlein does best, but that's what the fear of speed does for you. You see how far Byrd played off and allowed Lofton to run down 10 yards, turn around. He wasn't even in the picture when he made the catch. And all that is I respect you, James Lofton, compliments of Gil Byrd. He's just telling him that, look, I'm not going to let you beat me deep. They have to throw underneath the defensive backs tonight of San Diego.
Steve Smith now in there at fullback in front of Marcus Allen. Allen on the call. Across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. And Keith Browner, number 57, one of the outside linebackers out of USC, made the tackle.
I asked him, do you bother putting the ball in that hand? He says, no, I just keep it in my right.
But he can still catch coming out of the backfield. 2nd and 5. Beuerlein end around to Brown. He stopped at the 40-yard line. Big Lee Williams, and that's what he does best, makes the big play.
There you see him come from the right side. Nobody blocks him. He does his job. He just stays at home. Number 99. He is not fooled by the fake to try and pursue the running backs. He just did his job and made a great play out of it.
He's the sack leader on this ball club. It's now 3rd and 13. And they'll go with 4 wide receivers, and these guys as a group can fly. Allen, the remaining setback. Chargers come with 4. And there is a flag down and the whistle blows. Jim Tunney is our referee.
False start, number 72. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Don Moe,
that quarterback to step up into.
And that left tackle spot has become more and more critical as football goes through the 80s.
The left tackle and the center are the 2 most important positions on on the offensive line. I almost said football team. That means I would have negated the quarterback, and I can't do that.
No, of course not. 3rd and 18, Leslie O'Neal in the ball game at the Chargers defensive line. Beuerlein with plenty of time, throws complete just enough for the first down, and Tim Brown made the catch at the 46-yard line. Seal was all over him, but couldn't stop the completion.
There's Tim Brown. What he's going to do, he's just going to run on down here, turn around. He knows where he has to go and stop. But he does the thing. He comes back to the ball. That's what receivers have to do. They have to come back to the ball. He just plants those feet and comes back to the target. That's the difference between incompletion and a completion.
First down in Charger territory. Marcus Allen on the carry, straight up the middle inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Brought down by Martin Bayless and Billy Ray Smith, 44 and 54.
Here you see Mike Shanahan in the middle. To the left of him, number 13, Jay Schrader. Marcus Allen out there doing his meetings. You see his first meeting against the Chargers, 28 rushes. He's been averaging about 25, 30 carries, which suits him just fine.
Todd Christensen activated for this ball game, comes in at tight end. With Shanahan's scheme, they do not use the tight end as much anymore. Bo Jackson fell, and he'll lose about 3 yards. You're coaching, there's Todd Christensen, one of the great all-time receivers out of that tight end spot, but you need more of a blocker in the new system.
Well, he's been very vocal about the fact. Here's a guy who catches 85, 90 balls a season for goodness knows how long. This offense is not set up for the tight end. It's set up for the wide receivers, and it really doesn't feature a star. He was the star of the Raiders' previous offense. Now he's a role player, and it doesn't fit him very well.
Second time in this drive, 3rd and long for Beuerlein. Lofton came in motion. Another 4-man rush and plenty of time. Now he scrambles. Throws complete to Fernandez. Did he catch it in bounds? No, he didn't. Bennett was over there on the coverage, but Fernandez couldn't stay in bounds.
Again, you can see the room. Now, Fernandez plants and starts to work outside. And he just floats and floats and floats. Really loses sight of where the sideline is. The left foot's down. The right foot never really gets dragged.
Jeff Gossett is on to punt, and Darren Flutie standing at his own 11. Lets it go, and the Raiders do an excellent job. They down the ball inside the 10. Stephon Adams downfield on special teams. Timeout first quarter. There is no Troy unable to take advantage of it.
Yeah, but when you rate it, I mean, you take a look at the, and we will continue to emphasize the point I think it's worth talking about is the offensive power on the Raider offensive team. You have to give a big plus right now to that Charger defense. They've stopped them. With all that firepower, they've managed to shut them down. Now it's up to the offense to thank the defense by moving the ball.
With the lack of talent on this ball club, the one thing that Al Saunders is very proud of, the fact that they haven't quit. They have played as hard as they can every game out. And a surprise starting backfield, Barry Redmond, Tim Spencer. Spencer on the toss. Running hard across the 10, got maybe 2 yards.
You know, Mike, we talk about the offense and no talent. It isn't that the Chargers don't have talent. It doesn't have the experience or the marquee names of the Raiders. So, yeah, the Chargers have talent, but very young talent, not the marquee names.
Especially in the area of wide receivers. They've got some guys who are going to be outstanding players. They're not there yet. 2nd and 8. Mark Malone at quarterback. Redden in motion. Good block by Redmond. Spencer has a huge hole. Across the 25 to the 27-yard line, Tim Spencer. First down. There is a flag down, however. Told you there was a big hole.
Maybe he just held him a little bit.
Yeah, it's still 15 yards.
Holding. 66. Offense. Half the distance of the goal line. Still 2nd down.
Dan Rosado, the starting center. He is in there because Don Masick suffered a shoulder injury. And this is a patchwork job on the San Diego offensive line. Gary Anderson, number 40, will check in on 2nd and 14. Anderson, their all-purpose star out of the backfield. And Malone throws it away. Anthony Miller was the closest to the pass. Mark Malone is the Chargers quarterback, starting his 4th straight after taking over from Babe Laufenberg. There are some very good young receivers, as we told you. The veteran on offense, Gary Anderson, working on another 1,000-yard all-purpose season. The line has been a problem. 4 free agents and a rookie. Dennis McKnight is the only starter back from last season. You just run through the number of people they lost off of this offensive unit from a year ago. Fouts, Winslow, Chandler, Lachey, Mason, Kowalski, Clay, Quillen, and Holohan. Of course, Quillen came over the trade from San Francisco, was here a couple of days, decided to pack it in and go home. Malone, Townsend chasing it. And Malone made the most of it, got it out to the 18-yard line. Bill Patel made the tackle.
You know, that's a good move by Malone. You're trapped in the end zone.
One of the finest kickers in football, number 3 in the NFL with an average of 45-6 this year, kicking to the dangerous Tim Brown. Drives him back to the 32. Look out! And Mojenko got a piece of him to save the touchdown. 37-yard return after a 51-yard punt. Boy, he just scared the daylights out of you.
Well, he does. What happens is, here, he'll take the kick, and now he's a north and south runner. He knows where the goal line is. He makes one move, and it's right up the field. Good decisions by the kicking team of the Raiders not to hit anybody in the back. And Mojenko just sort of stands there and makes him go a different way, and he sticks out an appendage and trips him.
Any appendage will do.
And those Notre Dame guys, you got to be careful.
Great field position for the Raiders. Beuerlein right to work for Lofton. Couldn't hold it at the 10. Gilbert and Vency Glenn were back there on the coverage.
If I'm Steve Beuerlein, I'm thinking now, darn, I let this one get away. But it also exposed a very big gap in that defense. I mean, Lofton went flying by the underneath guy. Now there goes the ball. It's a little bit high, but we've seen Lofton make catches like that. Now he's about to get bammed. He takes a hit, but you know, that's the kind of thing, as the night goes on, that ball may come down. There's a big void in between that up back and the further than back.
Four-man rush, no pressure. Dump it to Bo Jackson. Can he catch it? Yes. At the 30. Going back to Lofton for a second, we were talking before the game about guys with great hands like Raymond Berry, who I thought was the best receiver who ever played the game, and guys like Bolitnikov, who caught everything. Lofton is in that class. He's made one circus catch after another in his career.
He has exactly what you're looking for in a wide receiver. He's got great speed, he's got great range, and he's got great toughness. And I think the third is the most important. He's got toughness. He will expose his ribs. He's not afraid to take a shot there. And that's the kind of guy you want out catching passes for you, because everything you throw is not going to be perfect.
Coming into the game, number 7 all-time receptions, number 4 all-time yardage. Beuerlein on 3rd and 9. Post to Fernandez, knocked away at the last minute by Roy Bennett. Nice coverage. Pass maybe could have led him a little further.
Again, Roy Bennett comes up with a big play. He just sets off to your left. Beuerlein's going to make the throw. Now, instead of putting the ball out in front of Fernandez, you see he has to slow down. Maybe Steve's got to jack that notch up on his arm just a little bit and figure out, I've got to take this thing up and get it up to the speed of the receivers.
Instead of going for the long field goal, Jeff Gossett will come on to try to punt and try to get it down inside the 10-yard line again. Barr, the field goal kicker, has lost some range over the years. And again, great job. This time at the 2, they'll down it. There is a flag down, however. We'll check the penalty for you. Once again, Stephon Adams.
Well, it also could be, again, the fact that the Chargers were totally confused and had too many men on the field.
Defensive men, 12 men.
I mean, they were standing around out there like, should I come off? Should he come off? Should this come off? That is very infuriating to a coach, because that's a mental.
With a 43-yard field goal opportunity, had he taken the 5-yard penalty, we had told you that Barr had lost some strength in his leg. Only 3 of 12 this year from 30 yards or more. So it looks like Shanahan is making a decision, hey, I'll leave it at the 2 because I don't have that much confidence in my field goal.
Absolutely right. Having a chance to visit with him last night, he looks at Chris Barr's range of about 40 yards. And I think he felt like it was precedent. Besides, what do you trade off? You've got an inexperienced offense backed up on their own 2-yard line. You're really playing a game of field position right now. I think it was the right choice.
And the Chargers pinned deep in their own territory. Malone on the rollout. Rifles downfield, complete to Miller. Miller at the 18-yard line. Mike Haynes out there on the coverage. The Raiders defense is hurting up front because Howie Long is out, but Bill Pickel is still tough in the middle and has very good speed. The linebackers have a combined 42 years in this league. Jerry Robinson still very mobile at the inside spot. In the secondary, even in his 13 years, Haynes is still a prototype bump and run corner. Malone out past his own 18, changing the play. Spencer and Anderson running back behind it. San Diego coming out throwing. Anderson out of the backfield. Tried to slip the tackle, will end up picking up about 4 yards. Lyndon King was over.
I believe he was at that early 80s. He was the best defensive lineman in football.
Anderson on the delay. Nice move to get outside. Left Lyndon King standing in his tracks, and it took Russell Carter, the safety, to bring him down.
Anderson's going to come down here at you, the lower part of the screen. Now, he starts outside. He starts up the middle and just freezes King right there. That little step inside. Whoa! Brings that move outside. Now he's got comparable speed. You know, talking to him, he's got something to prove out here tonight. Everybody's talking about Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen. What about Gary Anderson? He's a little bit excited about the opportunity to play on the same field with those guys.
And almost 1,200 all-purpose yards a year ago for this club. Malone going deep. Holland. What a catch. Holy cow. Haynes was right with him. 42 yards. 7 passes in college. And he's the most veteran receiver they have. The other 3 guys are rookies. Malone has looked very sharp. Going for Miller. Off his fingertips. Haynes again on the coverage. And let's, while we have the opportunity, say something nice about Mark Malone, who's probably been as maligned as any quarterback in this league in the last 10 years. He's looked great.
He really has. And the thing that he is he's starting to feel comfortable with this offense. He's back home. He's around people that he knows. He grew up in this area. It's very important in this series that he doesn't let his offense down by making a bad decision with the football, putting it someplace where there will be a turnover. Even if they come away with no points, he's accomplishing the confidence factor.
2nd and 10. Redden in motion. Spencer to the 22-yard line. With all the problems that Mark Malone has had throughout his career, we were talking to him about the game. Is it more mental than physical?
In the National Football League.
3rd and 5 wide receivers, 3 of them to the top of your screen. James comes in motion. Malone short, a one-hopper at the 10-yard line. Was intended for Holland.
You know, the thing that Mark was talking about is that at the quarterback position, the important way to help your football team is to make good mental decisions. Physically, you wouldn't be a quarterback if you didn't have that ability. But mentally, you have to make the right decisions. There he made a good decision, except he did not execute the play. I think he had the receiver open.
Vince Abbott will try a 40-yard field goal. 6 out of 9 this year from Fullerton State. And the Chargers take the 3-0 lead on the Raiders here in San Diego. 4 minutes to go. First quarter, you're watching ESPN. Roy Firestone with you from San Diego. 4 minutes to go. First quarter, 3-0. Chargers over the Raiders. Vince Abbott to kick off, deep to receive. Brown and Adams. Brown hustling up on it, taken by one of the short men. Across the 30, that's Steve Smith, the backup fullback. Chargers had
what they did in that drive.
What, there's 33 new guys on the Raiders, on the Chargers roster in the last 2 years? They've never played a winning Raider team. Allen and Jackson in the eye. Bo Jackson. He'll lose a yard. Swarming defense. Lee Williams, Billy Ray Smith, Mike Charles, and Keys was also there. Jackson, 3 carries. He's lost 5 yards.
There's Jay Schrader, who does all the, now he does all the signaling. 41 completions, 7 TDs, and the stat that really concerned the Raiders more than anything were the 10 interceptions. They weren't concerned about completion percentage. They were concerned that he was throwing too many interceptions. He was unfamiliar with the offense.
2nd and 11. In 3 carries, Bo Jackson hasn't gotten past the line of scrimmage yet. Fernandez with a sliding catch. Gil Byrd touched him at the 45. And of all these receivers, Lofton, Galt, and Brown, people you know a lot about, they think Mervin Fernandez may be the best of all of them.
He's just a big horse, 6'3", 195 out of San Jose State. This is a very similar to pass we saw before that Lofton didn't quite get his hands on. There's that dead area between the linebackers and the deep secondary. Fernandez just comes sliding in to make the catch in that area.
He leads the National Football League, averaging 26.9 yards a catch.
That's 26 yards more than I average. Rushing.
Or punting.
That'd be nice.
Berline with good time, throwing for Fernandez. Out of bounds at the 9. He beat Gil Byrd badly on that one. 35 yards on the completion.
There he is right there. He's going to come down, move on in, and then go back to the corner. Gil Byrd's just going to get trapped. He's never going to get back to cover in the deep zone. There they go. They try that inverted defense. Now, he just runs on down the field. The Chargers fooled themselves. They thought they'd fool Berline. Right at the end, you see him, if the ball is out front, it's a touchdown, but Byrd was way up on the corner and then tried to run back.
Nice start for Berline, 95 yards on 5 completions in the first quarter, and now he wants to take a timeout as the Chargers hustling around on defense and giving him a different look. 2:22 to go first quarter, still 3-0. Chargers on top of the Raiders 3-0, but the Raiders have a 1st and goal from the 9-yard line, and when they get in that position, they've scored 12 out of 14 times, 11 of them touchdowns.
That's the big stat, is that they're coming away with big points. The Chargers have only allowed 8 passes over 25 yards all year, and in this drive, these last 2 passes have been over 25 yards. So that's something they have to protect against, the deep bombs.
Jackson and Allen in the same backfield. Fernandez and Galt, the wide receivers. Berline tries to throw for Marcus Allen, and it appeared it was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Is going to have to play a great game for us tonight if we have a chance of shutting down that Raider offense.
He's been their sack leader for 3 years, and if Leslie O'Neal can come back on the other side, it makes him just that much more effective. Jackson on the toss. Allen, a devastating blocker in front of him. But Billy Ray Smith comes over to make the stop. 4 carries. He's only gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, what the Chargers are doing on defense is instead of committing and trying to give a hole to Jackson to run to, all they're doing is stringing it out and trying to get mud in their face and get dirty. You know, that's like he's burrowing along the ground just to make sure that Bo doesn't have a place to run into. See, you know he's a linebacker. See, a quarterback or offensive player, he'd take that dirt out. Not a defensive player. The more dirt on the helmet, the better I feel.
A quarterback would have somebody else take it out. 3rd and goal from the 9. Tipped. Picked off in the end zone. Billy Ray Smith. And then he made a mistake and decided he'd be a running back and take it out.
Now, he showed a sign of brilliance. And then...
Excellent play by Billy Ray Smith anyhow, and it preserves that 3-0 lead. Anderson. Across the 10 to the 12, a flag goes in on the pile. Got to hand it to San Diego. The Chargers defense has played tough when they've had to, and the offense has been able to move the football. And there's the preliminary signal, a hold against the Chargers. That's 2.
That's what happens when your offensive linemen are thinking instead of instinctively moving your feet to try and get to blocks. They're not coming with more sweat. No, now he's wiping it off. And now he's acting like an offensive player. He's wiping all that garbage off his face.
Spencer in motion. Anderson back the other way. Took a shot. Lyndon King and Mike Wise were right there. to put him down at the 5-yard line.
That's an honesty play. You run that just to keep the defense honest, because you're running really against the heart of a defense. You got McHale, Robinson, Millen in there. Robinson and Millen are like undersized defensive linemen. They just wear 55 and 57, but they're really defensive linemen, and they'll just clog up the middle. That's just to keep that defense a little bit honest.
Scott Davis comes in, number 70, as a 4th down lineman on 2nd and 9. Blitz. Great protection from Malone to buy him a little time. A dangerous pass back across the field and incomplete. Miller couldn't come up with it. Saunders. Coming up next week. Hope you'll join us.
Plays that they're running are like the Washington Redskin offense.
3rd and 10. The Chargers from their own 8. Malone goes to the shotgun. Complete to Flutie at the 16-yard line. That will be short of a first down. The younger brother of Doug Flutie, who has had a...
Defense is doing a job. Let him go out and do it again.
Ralph Moshenko to punt. Tim Brown waiting at his own 39. Just got that snap down. Low line drive kick. And the bounce goes away from Tim Brown. Has to go all the way back to his 28-yard line. 15-yard return after a 54-yard punt from Moshenko. End of the quarter, back in a moment. For a long time, didn't he?
He's old enough to be king of the world.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Raiders ball as we start the second quarter at their own 44, and Marcus Allen got a quick start on it. He loses 4 on the rush, but he had a head start on everybody else on that Raiders offense.
You know, the Raiders, their average start has been at their own 43. This game is a game of field position, and you would think that they would have some type of a lead, whether it's 3 or 7.
Illegal motion number 32 is declined. 2nd down.
A lot of credit to that Charger defense. They've really risen up to the task. Obviously, they're not as intimidated nor as impressed with the talent on the other side of the line of scrimmage as others are.
Raiders rushing 8 carries, -6 yards. Delay to Allen. Lost another 1 or 2. A swarming San Diego defense that does not have Chip Banks, does not have Chuck Fawcett, who was their leading tackler and an inside linebacker, hurt himself a couple of weeks ago. 3rd and long for Berline. Plenty of time. Deep sideline, out of bounds. Willie Gault chased by Elvis Toast Patterson, and he didn't get toasted on that one.
He wasn't. That was the good side. That wasn't the burn side. To at least make a play on the ball.
Gossett with a short punt, and it takes a good Raider bounce inside the 20. Down at the 17-yard line. 43-yard kick with the roll. And this will be just about the best field position the Raiders have had. They're at the 17-yard line.
There's Steve Berline walking around. You see the go back out on the field.
Chargers have started to their own 10, their own 3, their own 8, and their own 18. Malone's going to turn around, see 18 yards to the goal line and feel like it's a real luxury. Anderson end around to Holland. Holland gets 9, maybe 10 yards shoved out of bounds by Van McElroy.
Well, we talked about the plays up the middle.
It is a first down. San Diego has rushed for 41 yards in this half. The Raiders -7. Anderson. Well, another good block by Spencer. Got him to the 34. Spencer's the man who's going in motion And when the ball snapped, he just goes toward the middle of the line and unloads on somebody.
Well, you know, having that Ohio State background, and he was a big back at Ohio State, came out of a running conference and carries the ball well, but he gives him that push up front. You know, crying out loud, the guy weighs 230, 225, 230, and he's the big back you need to complement a little scatty guy like Anderson.
Gain of 6, so it's 2nd and 4 for San Diego. Good play action fake by Malone. Collin, midfield to the Charger, 49-yard line. Ron Fellows got him down with a neck tackle.
There you see what the summary looks like. The Chargers, they start at their own 7. Raiders have 5 of 9 rushes for minus yardage. The rushing yardage, 47 for San Diego, -7, as Mike mentioned, for L.A. The turnovers, the big turnover going in. Bad place to make a mistake when you're going in. And Beuerlein, of course, threw that interception. That's really been the story of the first quarter.
Malone with a nice start, 5 out of 9, 88 yards. He's made excellent decisions in the process. To Anderson in the flat. Picks up maybe a yard. Good job by Russell Carter, the safety, who wouldn't let him get away. 2nd and 8 for the Chargers. Anderson. A couple of more. Lyndon King had him around the knees. The Raiders with a win tonight would go into a 3-way tie for first place in the division at 5 and 5. Hard to believe the Chargers could win this game. They'd only be 2 games out of first place at 3 and 7.
Yeah, but that 3 and 7 record doesn't, you know, compensate for the fact that the Raiders are 4 and 0 in the division.
Right.
That's the big plus for them.
Six defensive backs in on 3rd and long. Malone on the delay to Lionel James. He might throw. He never had a chance. Jerry Robinson took him apart for a 5-yard loss. 10-year veteran out of UCLA.
I don't agree with this kind of a play in this situation. You got 3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 6. You know that the defense is going to be thinking pass. Here you run him, he's losing ground. He wants to throw the football. There's no doubt about it. He's not putting it up there so Robinson can see it. Looking down the field, all the receivers were covered. It's a throwaway play.
Mozienko to punt to Tim Brown. Tried to kick it away from him. Did a pretty good job at Brown on the bounce. Across the 25, gets back to about the 27. A return of 9 after a kick from Mozienko of only 36 yards. Elvis Patterson made the stop. From San Diego, Mark Malone on the sideline talking to the coaches upstairs. Did you ever get anything out of these conversations?
No, you always listen. Him talking is very unusual. I mean, they're always telling you what to do. What he's doing is he's saying, this is what I see on the field, and they're telling him, hey, you're doing a good job. Keep it up.
Marcus Allen, the lone setback for the Raiders. Beuerlein had it knocked away. Is it a fumble or an incomplete pass? The officials indicate a fumble, and the Raiders got it back. Leslie O'Neal, 91, coming from the blind side.
This is something the Chargers have missed. There you see him coming back. Don Mosbar trying to block him. He just takes the hard outside. Beuerlein, I think, sets a little bit deep. That ball's out before his arm comes forward. It is a fumble. The Raiders had a shot at it, and it just bounced away.
Leslie O'Neal was activated 3 weeks ago after 22 and a half months on the sideline. He had a devastating knee injury. When he was hurt in Week 13 of 1986, he led the team with 81 tackles, which is a tremendous number of tackles for a lineman, and 12 and a half sacks.
Play was ruled. Continue as a fumble. 2nd down.
There you go. They took a quick look at it. That's the way it's been going for the Chargers. Les Miller had a shot at it, just did get it, have it snuck away, and Roy Graves managed to make the recovery and give the Raiders a chance to have another play.
2nd and 20. Beuerlein flushed out. A lot of room. and got the first down and got out of bounds. Leslie O'Neal, we told you, with that devastating injury. We asked him earlier this week, did you ever admire the young man who had an unlimited future as a rookie and still may? They think he'll get back to that level next year. Marcus Allen stopped at the line of scrimmage, and the ground game has gone absolutely nowhere.
Well, the Raiders have not rushed the football very well at all. They've averaged 114 yards rushing at all, and it's gone up considerably since Bo Jackson has joined the ball club, but still not very impressive when you look at the firepower that's on that offense.
Allen and Jackson in the backfield together. Berline almost picked off. Martin Bayless, 44, had a shot at it, and the ball was underthrown, intended for Lofton.
That's a classic case of trying to overthrow. I'm sure everybody's heard the term. What happens, a quarterback has to be in a natural rhythm. He drops back. He sees that the area of which he wants to get the football in between the defensive backs is closing quick. Then you try and put a little bit more on it, and it just dies on you. Completely falls to the ground, exactly like that.
Berline now only 5 out of 12, 95 yards. He's missed his last 5 throws. 3rd and 10. Knocked down by Williams, almost intercepted. That's the second pass he's tipped tonight. That one he almost caught on the fly 5 yards away. With a beautiful spiraling punt, Darren Flutie back to take. No fair catch, fumble. Waiting on the official signal. And it will go back to the 9-yard line. That's because it was not a fumble. It was a muff.
That is correct. And if the ball it goes into the end zone, and it is not a fumble, but a muff, it does go into the end zone. It comes back to the point of contact where the ball was muffed.
Ball was touched on the 9-yard line by San Diego. Recovered by Los Angeles in the end zone. Ball is put at the 9-yard line. Los Angeles ball, first down.
That's just a rule. It's no other decision can be made.
That's right. Here you see Flutie doesn't really have possession. They don't think he had possession. Of course, that's very deceptive because it's in slow motion. And you can't think, well, he's held it for a second. This camera work is in slow motion. But there you see the scramble for it in the end zone.
Stephon Adams made the hit. He's been a demon on special teams so far.
There you see it. There's how quick it goes. He never really, that's what the ref has to look at. That's how quick he has to make his decision.
I think he made the right decision. I don't think the ball was caught. They are going to review it in the booth upstairs.
Reset. Please reset the 30-second clock to 14 seconds. 14 seconds. We're looking at it.
There is the 30-second clock, which has to be reset. But I don't think there was any doubt at all that there was not possession. Flutie just muffed it. And under the rule, a muff is different than a fumble. If he had possession and then fumbled the ball, that would have been a touchdown.
You know, we've talked about that, but the bottom line is when you're in a ball game in this kind of a football game, every decision you make has got to be intelligent. You're back there all by yourself, and you're supposed to have a guy communicating to you, letting you know where the defense is. Now all of a sudden you get a situation where, you know, you turn the ball over. These guys, the offense and defense have busted their butts out here for a quarter and a half, and all of a sudden one play on the special teams, because the guy you just saw is super slow-mo. Obviously our eyes aren't equipped to do this.
Upon review by the replay, the play is confirmed as called on the field. First down, Los Angeles.
Really don't know how they could call it any other way. That's very difficult to do. But the situation is the Raiders will have it 1st and goal at the 9. They'll go with 2 tight ends, Parker and Junkin. Marcus Allen. Stop at the 6. Joe Phillips credited with the tackle.
Big push up front by Giesick, Lewis, Wilkerson, Graves, Mosbar. That's what they're going to try and do, is just get in behind. And that's sort of a trademark of the Raider offensive line. Get those big guys up front, give them the push down around the goal line, and let one of those backs hurdle in. This may be a little far out for Marcus Allen to try his hurdle.
He might. Second and goal just outside the 5. Allen and Jackson in the same backfield. Lofton, the wide receiver. Beuerlein tipped away, intended for Trey Junkin. Vincey Glenn back on the coverage.
The fake does not hold the defensive backs of the Chargers, and Beuerlein throws this ball a little flat. What I mean by flat, it's on more of a straight line and with a little bit of an arc. Junkin trying to make the catch, but he's out of bounds.
Beuerlein has missed on his last 6 throws. It is 3rd and goal.
It's a big 3rd down, not only for the Raiders, but for the Charger defense, too. They can shut them down here. It just takes those young guys and elevates them with a lot of confidence.
Charger defense has stopped everything else the entire first half. Bad snap. Phillips has Beuerlein. It's a sack at the 19.
Coaches continually argue about the shotgun and what can happen. That's one of the things that can happen. You saw the center, John Giesick, block hard to his left. Now, it's very hard to go block somebody and try and throw that pill back 5 yards. If you want to try it in the living room right now, move the furniture around, take a football and fire it back and see how many lights you break. I mean, that's really the problem. And then run over and try and dive into the refrigerator.
Chris Barr will try a 36-yard field goal. He's lost some distance, but not his accuracy. Barr is true. From 36 yards, we're tied at 3. 6:24 to go in the half. 3rd and goal. Giesick was supposed to start at guard. He started at center tonight for the injured Bill Lewis.
What happens is he's got to block hard to his left. You see him pick the ball up, and he starts to take his step to go block, and the ball just comes flying up in the air. He goes after Joe Campbell and can't make a good snap.
Miller and Holland deep to receive the kick. From the 6. Miller across the 20 to the 23-yard line. Of course, the Raiders have only given up 3 points, too. Bernstein in motion. Malone to Bernstein at the 30. Brought down by Carter. Bernstein was a tight end. They moved him to that H-back spot in training camp this year. And this team went from probably having the best group of tight ends anywhere in football to a team that had to go out and sign free agents because of injuries. They lost Winslow. Eric Sievers is still on injured reserve. Bernstein was moved to the H-back spot. Pete Holohan was traded. And all at once, you have all these great ideas, and they come apart, and you go out and sign 2 free agents. Bernstein will carry across the 35 to the 36. That will be enough for a first down.
They've just created offensive line.
Chargers outside their own 35. 1st and 10, clock running first half, 4:52 and counting. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann with you. Glad you could join us on ESPN. Malone under pressure, unloads, threw it away. Lyndon King almost picked it off. They tried to set up a screen to the near side, but there were more Raiders out there than there were Chargers.
Number 57, Jerry Robinson, makes the late rush. Now, this is the thing that confuses a young offensive line. You get stunts. You get one linebacker coming one way, a defensive lineman going the other. They had more people rushing than the Chargers could block. That was very simple. And when that happens, you're not going to be able to protect the quarterback. On a screen, you're supposed to slow somebody down, maybe just a little.
2nd and 10, San Diego, tied 3-3. That ball was tipped and almost intercepted by Haynes. Intended for Quinn Early.
This is a rollout. The quarterback is rolling out to that side of the field. Early runs that little out and up. Haynes doesn't buy it. When Early slams on the brakes, Haynes shows why he's been an all-pro for so many years. Say he's lucky that the ball wasn't thrown in the right place.
Just a little nudge for the quarterback.
Yeah, that's all that was. That's a little friendly bump. Mike Wise just coming in saying, don't remember, remember, I am out here.
3rd and 10. And Malone to the shotgun. And now Malone to the bench after calling timeout. 4:34 to go first half. San Diego 3, Los Angeles 3. We'll be in Dallas next week for the Vikings and the Cowboys. 3rd and 10. Chargers right here from their own 36. Five-man rush. Malone hit just as he threw. The official has not indicated an incomplete pass as yet. There is a flag also down on the play. Davis and Townsend applying the pressure from the outside. It looked like Malone's arm was coming forward. Penalty will go against San Diego.
The Raiders decided
Early use of the hands. Number 88, offense has declined. 4th down.
That's an incompleted pass, but the Raiders that time decided to bring a couple of safeties, a couple of backs, and make the Charger offensive linemen block one-on-one with the talent up front of the Raiders, and they can't do it.
Now I think the play is going to be reviewed. It was obvious by that replay that Malone's arm was coming forward. They had marked off the yardage as if it were a sack and a fumble.
It should be an incompletion.
Sure.
Absolutely. These guys fell on it, they broke it, and it was absorbed by the ground.
And hopefully we will get a further clarification from the officials, because why this should take so long is beyond me.
This is my problem with instant replay.
And now they are going to move it back.
Upon further review by the replay, it is indicated that the ball touched the ground for an incomplete forward pass. The ball we placed at the 36-yard line, 4th down. The penalty for holding is declined.
Tell you what they may have been doing, Joe, is trying to spot that original line of scrimmage because they'd moved the chains and get it back to the 36-yard line. That may have been the delay, but that's just a guess.
You're trying to defend it, Mike.
No, I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah, that was a chance for everybody to take a little break while they're watching the game. That's all.
Tim Brown back to receive, and he's been the biggest offensive star for the Raiders tonight. And he'll have another chance on that low line drive kick. Got it to the 40-yard line, and with 4:17 to go in the half, again, excellent field position. Randy Kirk made the tackle for San Diego.
The best of hang times, but very good at 3-2.
Allen and Jackson again in the backfield together. Jackson, the deep man in the eye. Bo Jackson breaks the line of scrimmage for the first time tonight. Loose ball. San Diego has it. Sam Seal took the fumble in midair. So the first time Bo Jackson does anything on offense, he fumbled the football.
Well, he was putting a typical Bo Jackson effort into this play, and it was the second tackle that he tried to break when the ball came flying out. There he is coming up the field. Marcus Allen doing a great job of blocking. Now he breaks the one tackle by Bayless. Now Vincey Glenn just sticks his head in, and then he gets some help from Billy Ray Smith from behind. And there's Sammy Seal, Johnny on the spot.
Chargers get another break, the second Raider turnover of the ball game, and they have it at their own 37. Terrible looking throw right up in the air. Haynes picks it off. There is a flag down back by Malone. It may have been a late hit. Now, as much as we have said about how well, here's the call.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 61, offense is declined. Intercepted.
Ken Dallafor, the left tackle, trying to prevent the sack. And oh, what an awful pass by Malone.
I was talking earlier about making good decisions. You've got 3 minutes, 4 minutes to go in the half. Your defense has just come up with a great play. He sets and throws this thing going backwards, which isn't bad, but it's a duck. It's dead. A seagull wandered into the stadium. And that thing just falls out of the sky, right into Haynes' hands. If it isn't obvious and he's not open, airmail it or slam it into the ground.
Just looked like it just slipped out of his hand. And the Chargers have it at their own, or the Raiders have it at their own 20. Make it to 30. I'll get this right in a second. Pass is short for Christensen. He'll pick up maybe 4. And Malone on the sideline, not very happy about the way things worked out. That was a big break. And Haynes, who made the interception.
There's a difference between a guy who threw one and a guy who got one. The guy who threw it's talking to everybody. And the guy who made it sort of smiling, taking a little break, saying, boy, they've come after me. I got one back.
2nd and 5 for the Raiders. 3:22 left to go in the half. Jackson. Breaking tackles and almost got away from the man who saved a long game. Jackson at the 44-yard line. Bensie Glenn brought him down. Guy is a load.
Well, none of that. You don't want to get him mad. He's just fumbled the ball. Now I'm sure he's mad. He's upset. Look at Marcus Allen get out in front of him again. Just sort of get a hand on Billy Ray. He runs right over Billy Ray Smith.
Okay, we need another good fight.
Right flat over a guy.
And Billy Ray Smith may be the best linebacker who's never gone to the Pro Bowl.
6'3", 236, and Bo Jackson just flat ran over him.
Berline rifles it to Jackson. He lost the ball. Got it back. One official signaled a completion. Bayless drilled him and got it loose. Was it a catch or not?
There we go.
Does he have call?
Yeah, well, does he have possession? Looks to me like he got his feet down on the ground before the ball came loose.
And they will stop it and review it.
But let's take a look at it. There's your super slow-mo. Well, Mike, you want this one?
I don't think it's a catch.
I agree.
I think both feet have to come down before they're going to call it a catch upstairs.
Got to have possession.
Reset 30-second clock, please, to 26 seconds.
They're resetting the clock, but they are reviewing.
Recovered his own fumble.
Second one's down.
First down.
Close call, Mike.
Well, it was. There have been some real close calls. The review is a catch and a fumble. So it's Chargers ball or Raiders ball at the San Diego 41-yard line. 2-minute warning. We're tied at 3 in San Diego. Is complemented by significant community involvement. This year's nominees from the Los Angeles Raiders: running back Marcus Allen, from the San Diego Chargers, linebacker Billy Ray Smith. That was an award that Joe Theismann proudly won in 1982. Jackson in motion. They give it to Allen. Huge hole up the middle, brought down by Gary Plummer. And they had run that toss play to Jackson in motion before. They set it up well.
Most plays in football have complements to one another. If you run off tackle, you'll make it look like that and give the ball to the other back, or you'll run a play action pass. This case, they fake the pitch to Bo because they ran that sweep before. It pulls the ends outside, makes the linebackers flush to try and pursuit, allows the lineman to get up the field, and you run a little trap inside.
Clock running, 1:27 to go in the half. Same play, they toss it this time. Jackson changed of direction. Great tackle. Roy Bennett cut down. 230 pounds of speed.
We've talked about all night the way that you have to contain the Raider backs is you got to stay home. By staying home means if he's running left and you're supposed to be over on the right side of the field, stay there. There we see Lee Williams get cut down. Roy Bennett comes up and hits Bo, probably the only place you can bring him down, and that's maybe on one leg.
Once again, the Raiders trying to distribute the football to superstars. Who do you give it to and how many times to keep everybody happy and to stay in 10 at the Charger 28-yard line? Both teams with one timeout remaining. O'Neal got to Beuerlein just as he threw, almost picked off by Bennett. Well, what a big first half he's had, and O'Neal fought through 3 men to get to Beuerlein.
This is the end of the play where Beuerlein does the drop roll. O'Neal plants his foot and just does come in low on Beuerlein so he doesn't get a penalty. And Bird almost steps in front of Lofton. Can't quite hold on to it. Would have been out of bounds anyway. Excuse me, that was Roy Bennett. There's the hit. Tough to throw the football when you're going backwards. There's a one-step rule in the game where the defensive man has to give the quarterback 1 step. That time he was in the motion of making the tackle, so it was legal.
Very, very close to being a blow to the head, which is not. Beuerlein on 3rd down has to scramble. Caught from behind, threw it anyway, picked off. Intercepted by Leonard Coleman. Coleman to the 48-yard line. And they are going to rule that he was down at the 30-yard line, that Beuerlein had been sacked, and the interception will not stand.
I don't believe they'll call him a sack. I believe his knee was on the ground.
4th down, San Diego. 4th down, Los Angeles.
Coleman upset because he made a great return of that interception.
Responsibility is to keep an eye on the quarterback.
4th and 12 now.
That knee is down, and he still got the ball. It's not a thrown pass.
They'll go from 47 with Chris Barr, excuse me, his long this year, 44. Got a chance. It's wide. Had the distance. Chris Barr tonight, 1 Clemens Fox Hollywood Raiders. And Joe and I will be back to talk about what went on in the first half. Flutie. What a grab at the 46. There is a flag down in the backfield. They will bring it back. The official signaling. Let's come back to the line of scrimmage. And it will be a blow to the face against the Chargers.
Well, it's the 3rd time that they've had
20 seconds to go in the half. Will San Diego risk putting it up? No, they won't. Lionel Little Train James gets a couple tripped up by Piquel and Davis. And the Chargers will let the clock run down and settle for a hard-fought 3-3 tie. Some of the fans don't like it, but the last thing Al Saunders wanted to do was make a mistake.
I just think he's the kind of a quarterback who has every play can't take it off mentally. He's got to make the right choice, the right step, the right throw, or else his arm doesn't allow him to complete the pass. Beuerlein, on the other hand, has got a wealth of talent. Of course, we constantly probably beaten the fact of the talent he has around him into the ground. He has to try and get back and run a consistent offense. It's hodgepodge. It's let's try a shot here. It looks to me like let's try a shot here. Raiders can't get any consistency.
Chris Barr will kick off to start the second half. Anthony Miller and Jamie Holland deep to receive. Miller at the 3. He's got a seam. Hesitated a little bit and lost his opportunity to break it a lot longer. Got out to the 23. Here's what the Chargers...
Same approach now started just like it's the beginning of the game. Be aggressive. Do the things you did right in the beginning of the football game.
Anderson and Spencer will open the half in the backfield. Anderson. Not much. Spun out of 1 tackle. May have picked up 3 yards on good second effort. Wise and McElroy on the tackle.
Matt Millen. Matt's starting to get into the game now. He'll always go to the referee. Look at that. You talk about intensity. We know we've had great shots of Mike Singletary's eyes. We've seen him. There's another guy who plays with intensity. It's just put your head down and run into people.
That's Broderick Thompson.
That was
295 trying to slow him down.
That wasn't finesse.
No.
That's far from finesse.
The Raiders have never been known as a finesse team. Lionel James on the delay, and he's tripped up. Paquel was in the backfield with him.
We've referred to this being a similar Washington Redskin type offense. This is, you see the two tackles and the guard pull on the left side of the screen. This is the old counter tray, Washington Redskin counter tray with a little bit of different footwork in the back, with the back. Those linemen have got to get out of the way of the back, or the back has got to slow down a little bit and allow the lineman to create a path run. Still, a lot of guys unfamiliar and uncomfortable with this offense.
He appeared to hit the leg of his right tackle, David Richards. Malone on 3rd and long, incomplete. Tried to hit Miller. Haynes was over there on the coverage. So San Diego 3 plays and out.
Vicious pattern coming back to the ball.
Moshenko to punt to Brown. Another low line drive kick. Brown waits for it on the hop and lost his footing at the 35. 39-yard kick, only a 2-yard return, and it looks like Moshenko is really playing games with Tim Brown trying to kick it away from him.
Well, I talked to Wayne Sevier before the game, who's the special teams coach of the Chargers, and he said he's not trying to kick the ball away from Brown at all. I remember when he was our special team coach with the Washington Redskins, we kicked off to Willie Gault in a game against Chicago, and he said, we're not afraid of Gault, we're going to kick it to him. He ran it back 99 yards for a touchdown. So now he's decided he's not going to try and squib stuff or kick it away from Brown. He's just going to let his guys go after him like he's hopefully a normal football player.
Well, if he's not trying to kick it away from him, he's doing a great job of doing it anyway.
Disguise.
Bo Jackson on the toss. And again, they close him down. His power got him a couple of yards. Seal and Billy Ray Smith made the tackle. Here are the Raider possessions in the first half. And you will see a lot of punts and not all that many plays. That drive was stopped by the interception. That was Berline's big mistake.
The thing you have to look at, though, is look at the starting position, the field position they've had.
Tremendous.
From the one possession on the other side of the 30-yard line. Or behind it. I mean, it's just they've squandered great opportunities.
You have to take more of an advantage than that. 2nd and 7. They get Jackson 3 on the last carry. Berline for Gault. Couldn't hold it at the 16. Seal was with him, but Berline got the ball there.
Sammy Seal has seen enough of Willie Gault and the Raiders. He was a Raider at one time. Here it's just flat speed, a little sprint outside. Now Seal's doing everything he can to stay with Gault. Gault looks up, make sure the official gets out of the way, and then has to come back for the ball. I never had the opportunity to play with anybody that was that fast, but I would imagine that that's one of the problems you run into, is thinking that you're throwing the ball far enough for guys with this kind of speed. And obviously, that one wasn't far enough.
The Raiders thought they had some fast receivers until Willie Gault showed up, and then they said, oh, we haven't seen fast. And then Bo Jackson showed up. Billy Ray Smith has Berline, loose ball, out of bounds. Break for the Raiders. Berline coughed it up, and Billy Ray Smith, who's done a great job as always on the San Diego defense, caused the fumble. Gossett. Fair catch signal made at the 29-yard line. Darren Flutie, who muffed one earlier, made this catch. There is a flag down, however. And it's rare that a punt goes by or a kickoff return without a flag.
Well, this is the situation. It's against the Chargers for holding, but this is the situation that we talked to Jerry Glanville about last week and why he constantly wants to try and block punts. He says because normally if we're trying to block, somebody gets pushed in the back, there's a holding penalty, why not just go after every one of them and tell the guy to fair catch it? Because we're going to be better off in the long run anyway. And here we see a penalty.
Unless you have a Tim Brown, then you take the chance.
Yeah.
Here's Jim Tunney's call.
Post-possession foul. Holding is 10 yards while the ball was in the air. Penalty from the spot while the ball was dead. 10 yards, San Diego's ball, first down.
So San Diego back in familiar territory inside their own 20-yard line when they take over. Back in people on. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann with you from San Diego. Raiders and the Chargers 3-3. Anderson behind Spencer. Nice cutback. Got it out to the 24-yard line. Van McElroy on the stop.
You know, in the scheme of the Raider defense, you have to have a great support safety, and that's what Van McElroy is. They put a lot of pressure on the outside for their corners to play man-to-man. They don't expect them to play run defense. Now, there's Millen with that intensity, and Anderson just does a great job with Millen over pursuing, but backing him up is McElroy. Excuse me, McElroy. I'm sorry. Van, forgive me.
Second down, 4 yards to go for the Chargers. End around, double reverse. Miller. Nowhere to go. Great job by Lyndon King. And Al Saunders is using every page of the playbook tonight.
We saw the pursuit of Millen before. Now here he comes. He gets up into the line. They just don't get enough flowing movement by that Raider defense to try and outrun it. Lyndon King does an excellent job of standing his ground. We talked about the Chargers having to stay their ground. The Raiders showed that they're well disciplined as well.
Third down has been a wash tonight. Only 1 out of 15 for both teams. James, oh, nice catch. Caught it behind him one-handed, got out to the 30. That's complete. Little Train James out of Auburn.
When you've got an inexperienced offensive line, you want to get rid of the ball quick. Lower left part of your screen. This is how quick Malone gets the ball and gets it off. He's letting the pass go in 1.8 seconds. There are very few defenses that can get to you that quickly.
First down, Chargers at their own 30. No chance. Well, the Raiders had 9 men within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage.
David Richards just didn't.
He's in a 6th-year pro out of TCU, 4th-round draft choice in '83. The rap on him, he hasn't played the run all that well. He did that time. 2nd and 14. Malone dumps it off to Miller. Great speed from Miller, who went to San Diego State on a track scholarship, transferred to Tennessee when they wouldn't let him play football there.
We talked about the amount of time Malone has to throw the football. Here his offensive line runs the defensive lineman off the cup. See him step up into the pocket. Now he's got a nice throwing lane to Miller. Throws it like a baseball player. Brings that right foot through. I guess that was the split-fingered fastball. That's what he talks about.
3rd and less than a yard. Barry Redden and Spencer are the backs. They've got the first down across the 40.
You know, when
Malone
I played,
on the keep. That's a good call, isn't it?
No.
No?
No. When I was playing, I used to check off to him. I ran a play like that against Buffalo once, and 3 linebackers hit me. I never remember hitting the ground. I did not pick up the first down. I told Joe Gibbs, I said, I don't think that play's going to be in our offense anymore. He said, why? Because I get nailed in the head. That's why. Here's the exchange. Now, you see, that's, you know, it's a good thing that he's running that because he's about to lose the ball. Been a big problem for the Chargers has been that quarterback-center exchange. Plus, you get nailed in the head. They got big backs, guys, 230. Why take it if you're a quarterback?
I should have asked you that from another standpoint, from a coach's perspective.
Good call. Good call.
Yes. Anderson got a couple. Russell Carter made the play. 2nd and 8. Chargers. Spencer and Anderson in the backfield. Fake to Spencer. Malone under pressure got rid of it.
Pass intended.
And it was Rod Martin coming hard. Martin, who does not have a single sack this year.
Well, Rod Martin's been around enough years, played 12 years. He's not going to be fooled by a little play action. Lower right-hand part of your screen. He comes up now. He doesn't get blocked. He's supposed to get fooled. And that's one of those supposed to plays. He's supposed to not be there, and I'm supposed to be able to complete it, and he's supposed to be fooled. And what you wind up with a supposed to play is an incompletion.
I had never heard of a supposed to play.
Supposed to play. It's on page 7 in the playbook.
3rd and 8. Flutie sent in motion by Malone. Haynes almost picked it off, intended for Miller, and Mike Haynes was on him like an extra uniform. Another low line drive kick, trying to kick it away, but Brown got to it that time. He got it back to the 29. 41-yard kick, an 11-yard return. Jeff Dale made the tackle. 32 years of experience for those 4 Raiders starting linebackers.
And he has 12 of it. He's seen it all. And he's out of USC. 12th round draft pick. Super Bowl MVP. I know.
Balls to the 29 for the Raiders. Inside handoff to Allen. Slipped as he tried to make a cut at the 33. Seal came up from the corner.
I walked around on the field before the game. We've seen Timmy Brown slip. We've seen Bo Jackson slip. We've seen Marcus Allen slip. These guys, their feet are so fast. They're so quick that their mind says go here. And their feet say, okay, fine, but the ground is not accommodating. You watch this. Now, his mind says, turn up the field. His feet says, okay, but there's not footing. The ground is actually in good condition. The baseball diamond's been covered over, not affecting it, but there is very thin grass on the field.
There was a college game here last night, so it may have been torn up just a little bit. Beuerlein finally sacked. Flag is also down. Leslie O'Neal got him from behind at the 27-yard line. Now, that was a coverage sack, the 4th one of the ball game for the Chargers. And that's an area where they've been way down from last year, only had 12 coming in.
I really feel like they're trying to put the ball down the field.
We have offsetting penalties, holding 63 offense, holding 57 defense. Penalties do offset. It'll be 2nd down.
I really feel like that the Raider offense, they're trying to push the ball down the field 25, 30 yards. We've talked about the skill position, but unless you have time to throw the football without making mistakes, those skill positions don't do you any good, because everything you do positive, you wind up with a negative. Their building process for that Raider football team has got to be in the offensive line. Then it'll be back to what it was in the early 80s.
2nd and 6. Comes a 5-man rush. Christensen made the catch at the 44-yard line. Gary Plummer was right there. And Christensen staying down. Todd just coming back off calf and knee injuries, and that's what they're looking at.
Beuerlein sets in the pocket. Plummer's got good coverage. Christensen gets up in the air. Has possession before he goes down. Those knees hit. He has been just a great tight end for the Raiders. Featured in their passing game for years. Now with Mike Shanahan coming in as the coach, he's more conscious of the wide receivers and the running backs. That's part of his game plan. Todd, as we mentioned, not very happy because he hasn't had the opportunity to get involved with that many catches, and it's just not a part of the offense. I mean, you look back, 95 and 86, 82 and 85, 80 and 84, 92 and 83. Now, because of his injuries, because of the offense, he's not having the opportunity to contribute as much.
There's an area in the back of the leg where the calf comes up to the knee that has been a problem for him. Beuerlein changing the play. Quick hitch, a flag is down. Willie Gault has 11 yards. We'll check the penalty for you. Seal made the tackle.
What they're going to do is when he changed the play, James Lofton also adjusted his split, and he was in motion as the end man on the line, and they'll call illegal motion. Tough thing usually when you audible, you don't want your wide receivers to move. They should have a lineup where they don't have to make a movement. Because, see, Beuerlein was running
Illegal motion. Number 81 in motion and moving before the other people had set. It is still first down.
Excellent call.
Thank you. He has got to be set for 1 second before that ball is snapped. If he's the split end. Now, if he was the flanker and he was moving, that would be okay because he's considered a backfield man in motion.
This time, Gault goes left. Lofton comes right. They're in the eye with Jackson behind Allen. Bo Jackson. And O'Neal came from the outside and made the tackle from behind after a gain of only a couple. If Leslie O'Neal could come back for this ball club, what a contribution he could make.
Well, they held him out last week up in Seattle because they didn't want him to get that knee torn up for future games on grass. You get on that AstroTurf with a bad knee, it swells up, and they lose him for 2 or 3 weeks. They held him out last week, hoping he could come back tonight in this game and give him the kind of push that he has. He's doing a great job.
Associated Press Rookie of the Year in '86. Second and 13. Knocked away. Seal stepped in front of Willie Gault. And Seal, the former Raider, must be enjoying himself tonight. He's made some good plays.
Well, he's seen a little bit of his offense. Remember, he played for the Raiders. He also played against the Broncos. This is basically a Bronco-type offense. So he's had an opportunity to see it before, and he can make plays like that. A cornerback has got to anticipate. I think, to me, playing corner in the National Football League is the toughest position on the field because you're out there all by yourself, and the other guy knows where he's going, and you've got to try and figure it out.
Beuerlein so far 8 out of 19, 127 yards. He's had the 1 interception. Throws this one for Fernandez. Incomplete, some contact, no flags. Roy Bennett back on the coverage. And Bennett was very late turning around finding the ball.
Roy Bennett is very lucky. I mean, this guy here gets away with a lot of luck this time. He never turns around and looks for the football. Fernandez is looking. There you see, now Bennett decides to look up, but that's after the play has been made. That's considered incidental contact because he was looking for the ball.
Gossett punting for Flutie. No fair catch. Yes, it was. Back at the 14-yard line. Flutie has risked it before. Bud Christensen on the sideline after he banged up his knee. He says he's okay.
He just told us, you know, he's going to be all right.
Trainer said he probably won't come back. He says he's all right.
He'll be all right. Remember, these guys are from Hollywood. This is showtime.
Chargers take over again in terrible field position at their own 15. Malone to Anderson. Matt Millen drags him down, but he got across the 20-yard line. What do you think the Chargers need to do to get some movement in 2nd and 3 right here? Time ticking away, 3:56 to go, 3rd quarter. Spencer. Stopped a yard short of the first down. Lyndon King, the first man to hit him, along with Greg Townsend. This is what Dan Fouts was able to do with the Charger offense and the difference in Fouts and life after Fouts.
Well, not only that, in '87 when Dan was injured a lot, You see how they fell to 21st. And, of course, without him in 1988, they're 27th in the league in passing. Dan Fouts didn't have the strongest arm, didn't have the quickest feet, but there wasn't a tougher quarterback and a guy who believed in his receivers any more than Dan Fouts.
3rd and short. Barry Redden. That will be very close.
So you always check a pile in a situation like this.
Ball carrier.
If he was stopped, the Raiders would be jumping up, pointing the other way. If they're standing around with their hands on their hips and checking it out, that means they have to stay out on the field a little bit longer.
Think they have a shot at capturing the 80s to being the dominant team. But 2 more to go.
For him, it's a contest. It's like the 80s are a contest, and we want, he's talking about we want to win it. You say, well, what do you want to win? We want to win the 80s.
Other people have smaller goals. Malone dumps it incomplete at the 30. Intended for Cox's tight end, and Lyndon King was all over.
Now, you brought up a point about Al Davis. Having a chance to visit with him yesterday, Mike. This is a new experience for him. This is scheme football that the Raiders play on offense. Scheme football. He's used to having what he calls a good left end, a guy who can go down the field and stretch it, a Cliff Branch, and having a quarterback who doesn't throw for percentage, but doesn't throw a lot of interceptions and can stretch the defense and get the ball down the field. So for him, Mike Shanahan's offense is a learning process as well.
Davis, an interesting person to talk to. He's done so much in this league. 2nd and 10. Delay to Anderson. Nowhere to go. Townsend did an excellent job playing off the block and getting his hands on the ball carrier.
There you see him up against Cox. Cox just does not get to him. Townsend backs off the ball. Very unusual for a defensive lineman. Instead of taking on an end, he backed off the ball. Cox went to the ground, and he just danced around and made the hit.
Chargers face 3rd and 14. They've converted only 3 of 10 third downs tonight. Flutie in motion. Bad snap, but Malone comes up with it. Flag is down. Pass is complete. Driven out of bounds is Jamie Holland. One of the Chargers linemen got a takedown, and it will be a clip.
Well, it's like a chop block. If an offensive man is in contact with a defensive player, another player cannot hit him below the waist. They consider the
dangerous block, too. Tim Brown, you can't help thinking that Tim Brown might be the guy that's going to win this game. Moshenko. Brown at the 30. Got it back to the 41, 42-yard line. Again, tremendous field position for the Raiders. Ken Woodard made the tackle. 3, the Chargers 3.
Raiders field position for this game, their own 43 as an average. San Diego, their own 19. That's been the story of this football game. It's amazing that it's still 3-3.
And there are the numbers for both quarterbacks. It really shows how well the Chargers defense has played, also considering the hole they've been in.
Also shows how even this game is.
Sure does. Bernline behind Tim Brown. In Charger territory, Gil Byrd had the coverage on.
And watching these wide receivers and defensive backs, you'd almost think they were playing on wet turf. And as I mentioned, you get the fog rolling here in San Diego, and this mist gets on a field. And the skill guys, the outside receiver, they don't want to wear long spikes anymore because you catch your knees, so they wear those little short half-inch jobs. And if you don't get your balance right over your feet, they slide out from underneath them.
Allen and Smith in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Blitz coming. They get it out to Brown. Brown across the 50 to the San Diego 47-yard line. Vincey Glenn had to make the tackle.
Looks like the Raiders want to throw the ball, so you bring your best guns. You got Lee Williams, and Billy Ray Smith coming in. Marcus Allen does a great job of sticking his head in. Remember, he's got a broken hand, and he's still the great blocker, with or without it.
At only 205 pounds. Allen on the toss. And once again, the Chargers don't let him get outside. Reach possibly the 44-yard line. They're still working on Christensen's knee. As we told you earlier, the trainer speculated he would not be back. Christensen has already missed quite a bit of time this year because of the injury. They've had to go with Andy Parker and Trey Junkin as their tight ends, who are bigger than Christensen. And the Raiders are going to let the clock run out on the third.
Fourth inning.
Yeah, that's
Fourth
right.
inning.
Chargers come with a blitz. Berline got rid of it, had it batted back in his face.
Well, that's one of the things you do is if you want to try and get the ball out quick to the wide receivers like we've seen Berline try and do in this series is five-step, three-step drop and fire it out. This time Leslie O'Neal gets his hands up in the air. You know, it's real tough. I don't care how tall a quarterback you are. When you're only 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and that defense is pushing into your face, they get a hand up. It's tough to miss them to throw those hitches outside.
3rd and 7. Berline now only 9 out of 24. Another blitz. Berline back across the field, completes it to Steve Smith. Smith knocked out of bounds by Seal. 19-yard gain. Berline to Smith.
Steve Smith, now Berline's going to take this snap. They're going to block the line and try and move him over here. He's just going to come up, block, and sneak around. Everybody's going to pursue. Where the quarterback goes, where the ball goes, most of the defense goes. You see him set, make a block, slide on out, upper right part of your screen. Now he's all alone out there. Good job. Good job by the defensive back.
18th catch out of the backfield for Smith this year. 1st and 10 just outside the 25. Bo Jackson broke 2 tackles, still on his feet to the 12-yard line. He is something else.
It almost seems to me that the philosophy of the Los Angeles Raiders is in between the 20s, let's try and throw the football to our fast people outside. Let's try and stretch the defenses. Let's throw to the wide receivers. We get down inside the 20s, let's pound Bo, let's pound Marcus till we have to throw. It's like 2 separate philosophies on the field. There are those Heisman backs. 9 rushes for Allen, 30 yards, 10 rushes for Jackson, 36.
That was the best run of the night. Jackson inside the 10 to about the 9. Leslie O'Neal on the tackle again. And O'Neal has been limping the last 3 or 4 plays. Remember, he's playing with a knee that was totally reconstructed.
He said he used to work out playing golf.
Oh, sure.
He did. You know, I don't know what kind of golfer he is, but he'd ride a bike, you know, 20, 30 miles. He said it was nice to go out and enjoy the scenery. He'd also walk 27, 36 holes of golf as a part of rehab for his knee. That's a very intelligent young man.
2nd and 7 for the Raiders. Smith goes to a wing. Allen. Gary Plummer made a heck of a play. Fought off a blocker and then flipped Allen head over heels.
We talked about trying to get to the backs quick. Marcus is trying to stretch the defense. Plummer fights off the block. Just does a good job of lowering one shoulder and getting the other one into Marcus's hands.
3rd and 5. The Raiders have been down here before and came away with only 3 points.
I sure would be concerned about splitting out Marcus Allen, who goes to the top of the screen and getting isolated one-on-one.
And Beuerlein calls the timeout with 12:31 left in the game. We'll come back on 3rd and 5. Tonight's game from San Diego is brought to you by Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan. By Michelob, one taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob. And by Stanley Works. Stanley helps you do things right. 12:31 left in the game. The Raiders at the Chargers 7-yard line, 3rd and 5, tied at 3.
You know, we visited with Al Saunders. He talked about there were 1,048 snaps going into the game before the Seattle game. And he said 7 plays in that football game determined, our losses. This is a play in that football game where it could determine the outcome of this game. This time they decided to split Bo Jackson out up top and have Marcus Allen in the backfield.
Beuerlein throws, touchdown. There is a flag down. Trey Junkin made the catch.
Could well be some linemen downfield, possibly, or defensive holding. Get a lot of people down in that area.
Holding defense number 27 is declined. Touchdown.
Beuerlein moves out of the pocket very well. Not a great runner, but good mobility. Sees a lot of the field. Now he just flips the wrist, that's the old John Elway trick. Remember last time Roy Bennett, we talked about him having trouble on that deep pass, finding the receiver when he was covering Fernandez. Same thing here. He never looked back at the quarterback to see where the ball was.
He never did see that one, and Barr converts. Trey Junkin with his 2nd touchdown of the season. And Beuerlein, whose numbers have steadily declined throughout the night, was able to hit Junkin on that one. Junkin used to be a linebacker
with the Washington Redskins. Ultimate Bear, Mike Ditka, and wish him well, a speedy recovery. It's interesting, you watch some of the interviews of his players today. They knew Mike was watching. He may not have been on the field, but they knew he was watching. So
one of them said that's more scary than having him on the sideline.
He sees everything then. So, but we really send our best along. We hope he's all right. And the prognosis seems very good. And it'd be exciting for the game to have a real class man back working.
All the reports said he was doing very, very well this week.
Imagine trying to be his doctor, telling him, Mike, look, I want you to take it easy.
Yeah, good luck.
Sure.
12:24 left in this one, and we've had our first touchdown as the Raiders score. Anthony Miller and Jamie Holland waiting for Chris Barr's kickoff. And another good kick by Barr. Holland at the 1. Tripped up, but he got to the 37. Ron Brown down to help make the tackle. That last drive, 58 yards. Beuerlein hit Trey Junkin for the score. It took less than 4 minutes.
That's really been the story of the night for the Raiders, too, is they've had to go 58, 60 yards. You're putting a lot of pressure on your defense if you're the Chargers, making them go that distance. This is their best, the Chargers, speaking of field position, this is their best field position of the night. There you see Malone's stats, a very conservative evening with about 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Fake to Spencer. Malone had that one tipped, still complete. Miller made the catch at the 48. Ron Fellows ran him out of bounds. That thing almost went end over end, but it got there for 16 yards.
Well, you can't blame this one on Malone. He does a good job to get it out. He runs a little play-action fake. Miller's running that deep route up to the right. Ball gets tipped right at the line of scrimmage, and he winds up with a big completion. Lyndon King gets that big paw up and makes the deflection. That's got to be the toughest pass to catch. End over end.
Oh, you can grab either end.
That's true.
Malone stumbled coming out from under center. Down the middle for Bernstein, intercepted. Picked off by Fellows. And that ball just took a long time getting there.
The cardinal sin of a quarterback. You never want to throw back late across the middle and deep. The reaction time of the defense, they really have all day to go after the ball, unless the guy's wide open. What you're going to see here is Malone's going to start out to the left. Bernstein's going to go down the middle of the field. You can't throw the ball back this way without throwing into trouble. You got to work on that part of the field if you're rolling left. There you see Malone come out. Now Bernstein runs a little out and up, but there's a center fielder there. I mean, actually, there's 3 center fielders. Any number of them could have picked it off.
Fellows with his first interception of the season. And the Raiders are back in business at their own 34. Officials have stopped the clock.
When you run out and up patterns, what it basically means is that you're expecting the defense to be in man-to-man coverage. And so who's ever covering that tight end should be able to break free. The philosophy of the Raiders is to play man-to-man, but always keep somebody in the middle of the football field to protect against the deep pass. And that's what they did that time.
2 interceptions tonight from Malone. That gives him 7 for the season as opposed to 4 touchdown passes. Laufenberg has the hat on.
Well, Laufenberg is, as Al Saunders described him, that's his buzz bucket. He's the guy who's going to go out there. He gets into that huddle, and all of the guys in the huddle sort of take a step back because Babe's going 9,000 miles to nothing. He had some sore ribs. He says they feel all right now, and, you know, he's excited and wants to get back and play again.
They may have been reviewing the play to see if fellows actually had this ball.
Well, no, what they're looking at is they want to know, see, when the offensive man makes contact, he's down. They want to see if his knee hit the ground.
Bo Jackson. Man, he runs hard. Across the 40 to the 41-yard line.
He gives you so little to hit. Reminds me a lot of a guy I had the great pleasure of playing with by the name of John Riggins. All you're getting to hit is you're getting a helmet, shoulder pads, 2 knees, and giant thigh pads. Now take your pick. What do you want to grab onto? Nothing.
None of the above.
None of the above.
Bo a little slow getting up after that last one.
I wonder if they're going to, I wonder when he goes back to play for Kansas City in baseball, if they're going to let him wear a visor under his baseball cap like that.
2nd and 3 after a gain of 7. Smith is in there as the fullback along with Marcus Allen. Allen tried to hurdle, never got airborne. Plummer was in there again.
Football team, the Raider players say it's just incredible the level that this team plays at.
3rd and 2. Blitz on Berwine, has time to get it out to Brown in San Diego territory at the 47-yard line. And Laufenberg is loosening up the shoulder.
Well, you know, they're Raiders.
Laufenberg came over when Jerry Rome became the offensive coordinator here because he had him at Washington. Laufenberg had been cut 7 times when Rome signed him. He says, you know, I may have to cut you again.
Yeah, Babe says it won't be anything new.
Allen. Nice hole to the Charger 41. Picked up about 6. 2nd and 3. Allen again. 1st down to the 35. Well, there's nothing he can't do well. Running inside or outside, he's always been an excellent receiver. He's got a lot of guts. He's a great blocker.
The thing that really impresses me about him, competitor, and he wants to show that, you know, it's his full-time job and he can do it well.
Allen goes to fullback now with Jackson back in. And around Tim Brown. Plummer missed him. Vincey Glenn brought him down at the 30.
Laufenberg was on the football team, and both of them getting an opportunity to shine in different places.
2nd and 5. The Raider ground game starting to have take its toll. Allen Nice move, got to the 20-yard line. He went right by Martin Bayless, who's a good open.
Football, it's going to take the time off the clock, and now it becomes their ally.
6 minutes trying to tackle Jackson and Allen is a lifetime. Allen didn't get much that time. Right in the middle, Mike Charles, the nose man. And Charles has done a good job for this ball club after being waived by Miami and Tampa Bay. 296 pounds. That's what he's listed. He's always been a little heavier than that.
You know, he's big for that nose man in the 3-4. We always picture those guys like about 6'3", 300 pounds, fire plugs, impossible to move. Here's a guy who's a pretty big target, 6'4", like you say, hovering around 300. It's tough to play when you're that big, having people hit you from all sides.
Allen's carried the ball 5 of the last 8 times. This time he goes to a wing, and Jackson is the lone remaining back. He'll get the toss. Bayless did a nice job coming up and forcing the play back in. Leslie O'Neal and Plummer made the tackle. The Raiders are up by 7 and trying to pad that lead, and this is a critical ball game for them. They would be tied with Denver and Seattle for first place in the division. Look at their division record. All 4 wins have come against AFC West teams.
And one of the most important things is they will play Seattle twice. So, I mean, it's one thing when you talk to the coaches, they have their destiny in their own hands.
And they have felt that this Raiders team is much better than that 4-5 record. 3rd and 8. Beuerlein throws for Brown, made the catch. He will be short of a first down. Came back for the ball, made the catch. Hit his last 5 of his last 6 passes has Steve Beuerlein.
There you see Brown on seal, makes that little inside move and pushes away. That ball's up a little bit. He makes the turns the ball upfield, turns himself upfield, and gets a first down.
And on 4th and a yard, Mike Shanahan will send in Chris Barr.
Of course, Timmy Brown has gotten the start in these games because Willie Gault's nursing that bad shoulder, and he's done just a good job for him.
Gossett will hold for a 29-yard field goal attempt. And Barr hits it dead center. And the Raiders with a big 3 points. They're now up by 10. This year, now leading San Diego 13-3 with less than 5 minutes to go.
The Raiders have to get some points on the board in this drive and in a hurry. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't know why we've done this, but the Chargers have to get the ball in the end zone and get a score quick.
Miller at the 3. Loose ball. And the Chargers get it back at their own 24-yard line. And Babe Laufenberg, the starter at the beginning of the season, now comes on in relief with 4:39 to go.
See, now, when you run with the football, you should always try and put the ball away from where the defenders are coming. There you see he carried the ball in his right hand and got it stripped away. I think that was Billy Ray Smith that jumped on it.
Well, Laufenberg has had some exciting games, most of them in preseason when he was with the Redskins. There's the blitz. Finds his tight end Cox. And Cox just barrels his way up to the 38-yard line. Townsend made the tackle, but Cox at 277 pounds, once he gets the momentum going, you really don't want to be in the way.
That's right, and I would expect there the Chargers are going into their hurry-up offense. And that's the thing that Laufenberg does, is he has the ability to create plays by scrambling around.
Trying to set his personnel with 4:04 left. Tipped away, thrown for early, and Haynes who has been all over the field, made one great play after another. McElroy came over to help out.
Well, Jamie Holland made that great catch on Mike Haynes early in the first quarter, but he has really risen to the task as the evening has gone on.
And he's done it for 13 years.
Here comes 277. If you're Anderson, who hit who?
Eddie Anderson got nailed by Cox. It's 2nd and 10, San Diego. They need 2 scores in less than 4 minutes. Laufenberg complete to the 44-yard line. Quinn early. 18-yard gain. Lionel Washington made the stop. Three wide receivers set with Anderson in the backfield. Laufenberg sacked, and it was a great job by rookie Scott Davis. Just got him around the ankles. A loss of 12, and the clock stopped momentarily with 3:21.
Now Laufenberg's looking downfield. He just does get that right ankle tipped. You were right. A great play by Davis. Just a sellout effort at the end.
2nd and 21. Flags are down.
False start. Offense. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
Now 2nd and 26.
Coach Saunders talked about in the last 2 drives of a football game, he wants to be in a position to be able to win it. Here he is. He's got 3 minutes left in this ball game. They're down by 10, and he's got to get something out of this drive in a hurry. And they're going to have to work to the middle of the football field because the Raiders are not going to allow him to get up the field outside with their wide receivers.
3-man rush. Laufenberg to the middle, overthrown. Intended for Jamie Holland. This will make it 3rd and 27.
You see the defense, corner, safety. They're going to come out this way. They're not going to allow him to get to the guys down the field. They're either going to have to work to this guy inside or bringing these receivers down into the middle. That's the area of the field that the Chargers are going to have to work if they want to move the ball against this Raider defense. And that's what they're trying to do. There you see him in the middle of the football field. Even though they're playing what's called a double zone, deep and short on the outside, there still is the exposed part of that defense, which is in the middle.
Laufenberg facing a 3rd and 27. 8 men dropped in coverage. Sacked from behind, Pickell.
Just can't hold on to it that long.
Chargers call timeout with 2:41 left. When we come back, it's 4th and a mile. Coming up right after our ball game, the Sports Center, John Saunders and Bill Patrick. They'll have all the top stories, not only in the NFL, but the National Hockey League and the NBA, along with highlights. And then you can catch NFL Primetime. Again, highlights of all the NFL games played today, right after Sports Center. 4th and 33 for the Chargers. They're down by 10 points with 2:41 to go. Laufenberg can complete a bomb and still come up short of the first down.
He's going to have to throw a bomb. This is the throw it up in the air and let's hope I can complete something pass.
Throws a way short of any possible first down to Miller. That would have gained about 10 yards.
Well, what they tried to do is they tried to run everybody else down the field, create a soft area, get the ball to Miller at 20 yards, and hope he can pick up the remaining 90. Didn't work.
You buy that?
No.
No.
I'm looking for an explanation here. That's what I'm trying to explain what I think they're trying to do.
If the Chargers do not score in the last 2:35, it would be the 4th game this year out of 10 that they have not scored a touchdown.
There's Mark Malone, who really threw, I think, 2 bad passes tonight. Both the interceptions in the middle of the football field were bad decisions. And that's probably why he was pulled.
Marcus Allen and Steve Smith, the backs behind Beuerlein. Allen A lot of room to run that time. Plummer made the tackle along with Bayless as he got inside the 30. Stayed in bounds. We'll catch you up to date on what happened earlier in this ball game. If you joined us late, Vince Abbott got the Chargers on the board in the first quarter with a 40-yard field goal. As it turned out, those are the only points they've scored tonight. Chris Barr tied it in the second quarter with his 36-yard field goal. That made it 3-3, and that's the way we were until the fourth period when Trey Junkin caught a 7-yard pass from Steve Berline to put the Raiders up by 7. And then the Raiders salted it away when Chris Barr hit a 29-yard field goal. You have seen 2 of the Chargers quarterbacks tonight. There is the third, Mark Vlasic, and apparently he is the quarterback of the future.
Well, they're certainly going to try and find out, Mike. They, in talking to the coaching staff here, they invested a 4th-round draft pick in him. He's out of Iowa. Of course, he only played 7 games in college because he played behind Chuck Long.
Right.
That's the reason why. But they want to try and find out if they have a guy for the future, or maybe they have to go to the draft and trade up and try and get a quarterback. Obviously, they're struggling at that position, and if the Chargers lose this one, maybe another one, Vlasic will play before the year is out.
Allen again. Spins. Looks like he has the first down at the 22. Of course, in all fairness to both of the Charger quarterbacks, you can't lay all the blame at their door, not with 4 free agents and a rookie on the offensive line, guys that have not played together. They have played their hearts out, according to Al Saunders, but they just don't have the talent and they don't have the experience together to make it a cohesive unit. We're approaching 2 minutes. The Raiders putting this one away. They lead the San Diego Chargers 13-3. 2 minutes left. The Raiders deep in San Diego territory, already leading 13-3. And putting the finishing touches on this one. Bo Jackson now in the tailback. Behind Smith. Bo to the 15-yard line. Vency Glenn makes the stop. And with this one put away, we told you earlier, a big game for the Raiders, and they have now tied Seattle and Denver for first place. And if it comes down to a tiebreaker, they've got a great leap on everybody else with a 5-0 record in the division.
As we talked about, they have Seattle left a couple times, and you know, they're basically in control. There you see the schedule. Tough one at San Francisco. Atlanta, who's come up and I think played very good football.
No pushover.
Again, it's Seattle, Denver, Buffalo, Seattle. I'll tell you, that's a pretty tough schedule. I mean, that's not exactly what you might call a dance in.
And those 3 games left in the division, Seattle and Denver, a total of 3 games, their chief rivals. Bo Jackson, who the San Diego defense did such a wonderful job against early. First 4 times he carried the ball, lost 5 yards. The last 10 times he's gained 59.
I don't think you can say enough either about that San Diego defense. They have had their backs against the wall all night and have managed to shut down a very potent offense, great running backs, and really confused Berline with their coverage and their ability to put pressure on the passer.
Leslie O'Neal has played well. Billy Ray Smith, Plummer, Vency Glenn.
This was a game of field position, and the Raiders have had it all night.
Boy, they certainly have. 1:44 left in this one, 2nd and 3. Smith. Got maybe a yard. Plummer is over there again with O'Neal. Al Saunders will see his record drop to 2-8, just staying ahead of Kansas City in the division. With 20 free agents on this team, including 12 replacement players from a year ago, there isn't a whole lot you can do.
No, now when you don't have any timeouts, you can't stop the clock. All you can do is try and yank the ball away and hope somebody can run it a bunch of yards for you.
3rd and 2, the Raiders have been terrific in this situation. Jackson hurdles one, runs over another, runs by one more to the 8-yard line. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. When they have to run one more play. That's the game clock you see on your screen. The play clock is at 20 seconds right now. We'll be in Dallas next week for Minnesota and Dallas.
That's
probably
right.
see a new quarterback for Dallas.
Could well be a shot in the arm for the Cowboys. They're looking for any kind of hope. Kevin Sweeney's taken over the last part of this game today.
Jackson still on his feet inside the 5, makes the 4. And the Raiders have tied for first place in the AFC West, raising their record to 5-5. It was a hard-fought win tonight. They beat the San Diego Chargers 13-3. Al Saunders and Mike Shanahan shaking hands in the middle of the field.
You know, the Raiders, they said that their record is not reflective as how good they thought they were. I still think they have a way to go. I don't think they've decided on how they want to do things offensively yet. They just haven't decided who to give the football to and settle into a game plan. The Chargers, we said they were young coming in. We said that they play with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of heart. But tonight it was a question of the talent doing a better job than the enthusiasm. Again, the key to this game is field position. You cannot constantly drive 80 yards and try and win a football game when the other guy's only going 60 or 50.
They had it all night long. Our final from San Diego, the Raiders 13, the Chargers 3.